8-year-old Marty was playing with his friends when the explosion happened. The blast blew off part of his leg. He joins other children in his village at a talk organised by a local organisation about the dangers of unexploded munitions left by decades of war. Marty is not the only injured child here. The same blast on the outskirts of the village ripped through 12-year-old Ismail's leg. 12-year-old Maliha lost an eye, and she was partially blinded in the other.
What will we do? He's a little kid, and he has a long life in front of him. I worry how he will cope. He doesn't have any land, and we have little money. We are worried and afraid about his future.
The children are told to listen carefully because the area around their village is littered with hidden munitions and unexploded bombs.
The children were collecting dried grass for burning as fuel when the explosion happened. She lost her eye, and 2 of my sons were also injured. I tell everyone not to touch anything suspicious looking and just move away.
A local bomb disposal team leads us to where the blast occurred. The Taliban blew up an Afghan army weapons convoy here in 2019. The attack scattered ammunition across a wide area either side of the road. Much of it was then buried in mud during floods. After carefully collecting some, the team tell us we can leave the camera but move back to a safer area before they conduct a controlled explosion. Before the Taliban retook control last month, no bomb disposal team had come to this area of Wardak province because it was too dangerous. Bombed out villages show how intense the fighting was. The situation is calm now, but a lethal and hidden legacy remains. 5 children killed and another 12 injured in one incident near this village. Experts are saying that there are hundreds of villages in this area around which they believe there could be tons of unexploded ordnance. The teams coming into this area to try and clear it are appealing for international help. Taliban fighters take us to an abandoned US base on a hill close by. A few destroyed military vehicles, ransacked planning and living quarters, surrounded by blast bag walls, is all that remains. Locals say foreign soldiers used the surrounding area as a firing range, which is now littered with unexploded ammunition. Experts say if lives are to be saved, the international community has to release funding that it froze when the Taliban took control last month.
Demining organizations were funded by the international community, but that has now stopped. There are incidents every day. The US and NATO need to come here themselves to clear it up, or send other organizations to help.
Life is, on the surface at least, returning to normal in this village. But the people are afraid that what lies hidden around them could destroy many more lives for years to come. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera, Wardak, Afghanistan.
Well, James Cowan is the Chief Executive Officer of the Halo Trust. It's a landmine clearing charity. He's joining us by Zoom from Sherborne in Dorset. Good to have you with us on Al Jazeera, so thank you very much indeed. There used to be several organisations in Afghanistan clearing mines, but one would imagine that given the recent circumstances, some of those may have pulled out. Who is actually left to be doing the clearing?
Thanks so much for letting me join you this morning. Actually, the Halo Trust is the oldest and by a long way the largest mine action charity in Afghanistan. We employ about 2,500 staff. The others are largely suspended if they're international. There are no other internationals working. Some of the local national NGOs are there, but the big issue, of course, is funding and the lack of currency that's presently available.
Given the scale of the issue that we heard about in Charles's package just a moment ago, when it is down to organizations like yours, one would imagine that it has become more daunting and logistically more difficult, perhaps, because although you can get into some areas you weren't able to get into before, again, just the scale of the problem must be huge.
The scale of the problem absolutely is huge, because what you have is the kind of baseload of the old Soviet-era landmines, and there's still a great many of them, Then there are the recently laid improvised explosive devices, which are really just homemade landmines. And then there's a huge amount of unexploded ordnance from the recent fighting. So we are here in Afghanistan to clear it. We've gone straight back on the ground almost immediately after the international evacuation operation ended. We went back into 5 provinces, and we're now expanding up to 12 provinces with 2,500 staff working. So we can be there to meet this need, but what we need now is the international community to recognize the need for urgent funding to make it possible to clear this very deadly ordnance.
One thing that became apparent fairly quickly after the foreign troops left Afghanistan was the possible rise of armed groups in Afghanistan. What is the risk, do you think, to deminers in Afghanistan who will be working, trying to deal with the scale of the problem that they're facing now?
Well, we have good relationships with the new government, and we've always been able to operate in provinces controlled by the Taliban. So that's not an issue for us. And we see actually far higher levels of security now than perhaps 2 months ago. And we know that the Taliban want us to clear this ordnance. I think the issue is about dissident armed groups, of which there are many. Our response to that is that we are a humanitarian organization. We're here to protect the people of Afghanistan. If people don't want us in an area, we won't go there. We have a big enough presence to operate in other provinces. So for us, it's about moving out of harm's way rather than confronting people who wish to do us harm.
James Cowan, it's good to have you with us as always on Al Jazeera. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.